All right, we are live. Welcome in to an early morning edition of the Real_G Warner on Twitter, Instagram, wherever that possible username is available. And I've tried to take it because Daddy's got to work. So we're gonna go in before the workday begins, starting and going short and sweet on everything. But we got midweek Premier League, Coupe de la Ligue, Coppa Italia, Copa del Rey, every Copa Cup you could even envision is probably happening. No German soccer, I don't think. And sadly, AFCON's over. Egypt, the half winning kings, essentially. Sorry that they didn't win the whole thing. But without further ado, going where the money is. Newcastle hosting Everton. Currently, Newcastle a pick'em with all the juice right now. Not a lot for me to do there. Would still need to see Everton and really what they are, because the big cup win against Brentford made me think Brentford is even worse than I did previously, which was pretty bad in general. These are Tuesday, February 8th matches, and we'll go through the whole card. West Ham giving a full goal right now to Watford with all the juice on Watford. Watford coming off a pretty quick turnaround after really not having much experience playing two matches in a week because they are a recently promoted club. So that's a bit of a concern. The West Ham's offense is not great. And as a big favorite, like a full goal of insurance type favorite, that gives me pause and makes me want to go against West Ham. I think we've seen that when Roy Hodgson comes in, he's going to play for clean sheets and for 0-0s, which is pretty nice as an underdog against the bad teams, but I'm not sure that will play very well against West Ham, who are up at the top of the table trying to fight for Champions League, which is probably unrealistic, but Europa League and all that sort of stuff. The Watford offense had been good under Ranieri, but he kind of had realized that they couldn't defend. I do think that Samir was a huge signing for Watford, and that's solidified their defense, at least with one position player. The rest, I'm not sure, is really solidified. But I'm interested in Watford. We'll see what happens with this number and what the lineups look like. But +1 is of interest when West Ham had to go extra time in the FA Cup to survive with a stoppage time equalizer and then another winner in the last final minute before penalty kicks, I think. So interested in Watford, but we'll see what my interest is later this afternoon in like 4 or 5 hours. Burnley then hosting Manchester United, getting a full goal right now with all the juice on Burnley. Kind of hoping this one ticks below 1 because at +1, that's always of interest to me. Burnley did nothing against Watford, sit back and run the clock out type of defense. Weather was bad. Wout Weghorst hadn't been playing a lot for Wolfsburg, so maybe that was something, and he'll get better as he plays it. But he hasn't really had a good season, hasn't been playing much for Wolfsburg, and that's why they moved on from him. He's huge, but can't really head the ball. Good finisher when he's got open opportunities, but I'm not sure. Maybe against a Manchester United team that's going to be out pushing, pressing, that might be a little bit of an advantage for him. And Maxwell Cornet is awesome. Of course, alarms going off right in the middle, like a pro. Anyway, Manchester United has clearly big flaws. I mean, got big time screwed in their FA Cup match by ridiculous handball, not ruled a handball. And that, cost them a run, but, I can't say I feel bad for them. I mean, I guess I do a little bit, but ultimately, Cristiano Ronaldo missing a pen and the rest of the team just not taking chances is probably symptomatic, or that's what happens with them. Burnley are certainly not going to sit back and they will sit back. They're not going to give Manchester United opportunities, I don't think. Burnley, the only thing they'll push forward for is a corner or set piece, I would expect, under Sean Dyche. So we know what we're going to get from Burnley, and that makes that full goal of insurance pretty interesting. Man City then hosting Brentford. Man City giving 2.5 goals, big number. But they showed even after they fell behind 1-0 against Fulham in the FA Cup, and Brentford doesn't seem much better than a championship side as of late. But Man City can come back from the dead and crush you. Best team in the league. Y'all are back. Welcome in. And I think that's enough that I can say about Brentford, because they just seem like they have big problems, but they've gotten enough points that they're probably safe from relegation, unless teams below them start doing stuff that they haven't done all year. Norwich then hosting Crystal Palace, and these are Wednesday matches. Norwich getting a quarter at home is of interest to me because they've been playing a lot better under Dean Smith. Crystal Palace, I'm just not really sure as a road favorite that I trust them. They seem to have flaws, a lot of them. And I'm not sure that Patrick Vieira, I mean, he's come in, he's brought a little bit more of an offensive mind compared to Roy Hodgson, clearly. I just don't know that they really have done enough to make me believe. And having a win on the road just seems like a tall ask for them, though they're pretty safe in mid-table and are facing a relegation candidate. Tottenham then hosting Southampton. Tottenham giving a full goal. Southampton with all the juice. Big number to get a full goal of insurance from a Tottenham offense that doesn't seem very impressive. I mean, they scored a bunch of goals against Brighton, but like XG was really low considering they got 4. Bad own goal, then a big mistake, and Harry Kane literally making a slide tackle to push the ball over the line. Southampton, on the other hand, don't have a lot of offense. Their defense is problematic to me. It's been better performing, I think, than what their talent is, and they don't really score a lot of goals. So I guess, like, if you're backing them in this matchup, you're hoping for a 1-0 being the worst case scenario. And certainly if Tottenham get that first one, whenever it is, the second is more likely than the first. Aston Villa then hosting Leeds, giving 3/4 of a goal. Almost all the juice on Leeds. Big number for Aston Villa, who doesn't have much of an offense to speak of, I don't think. But Leeds are, I don't know, they're scary because they're certainly a team that can concede a lot, don't really love their offense. And I think that's why they play on the front foot so much, is try to create offense. I don't know. Your odds are back. I don't know. At +1, would I like Leeds? Probably. 3/4 might be low enough that I don't do it, but I wouldn't point a finger at anybody for trying to fade an Aston Villa offense that I don't know will score. Liverpool then hosting Leicester, giving 1 3/4 goals. It's a big number, and it makes me think that Mo Salah is going to play. Mane maybe 2. Mo's played a ton, extra time, all that sort of stuff, and Mane played a lot for Senegal, the AFCON champions. Leicester's defense has been a disaster, and they're playing this best or 1B team in the league, maybe second best team in the league. So not a great setup for Leicester. Big number, especially for depending on what Liverpool puts out there. Wolves then hosting Arsenal, getting 1/4 of a goal at home. Love the Wolves defense. I know they're dealing with some injury issues heading into whatever international winter break, Christmas break. I didn't really have that. But whatever we just walked into, because we've been having a weird schedule for a while. But Arsenal certainly has a ton of talent. Arsenal have a lot of talent, a lot of young players, a lot of speed, a lot of energy, all that sort of stuff. I don't know that they're very clinical, though. And I could certainly see a clean sheet here, which would pay out in Wolves and a home team, home crowd. Very possible that they'll outperform kind of what they've been doing. And I think Wolves have been good this season. So I kind of like them, and am hoping that they'll be a realistic possibility to potentially play. Moving to Coppa Italia, Inter Milan hosting AS Roma today on Tuesday. We have Inter a 1-goal favorite, which is a lot of insurance considering how they collapsed against AC Milan this weekend. Roma with a 0-0 and a ridiculous red card from Zaniolo in extra time after being pissed off that his goal was ruled out. That if he's missing, that's kind of a big loss for Roma's offense, though they've been able to score a ton of goals this season, which is kind of surprising in a Mourinho, but defense hasn't been great. Inter will probably be very upset after losing their derby match to AC Milan. But ultimately in Coppa Italia, I would expect rotation, and having to win by more than a goal to take any sort of unit or percentage of my unit is saying something, because Roma, I think, can hang. Inter didn't do great with Empoli, who's a pretty poor defense in the last round, but got through. And Roma, I think, can score goals. So getting a full goal of insurance from Inter Milan against Roma with, I'm not sure a full crowd, but probably decent sizes. I think the COVID restrictions are kind of waning in Europe, but ultimately getting +1, I'm interested. AC Milan then hosting Lazio tomorrow in the Coppa Italia. Lazio getting half of a goal on the road. AC Milan going to be tough, but 2 back-to-back efforts, big one coming in after a great performance against Inter. Awesome comeback delivered really off the boots of Olivier Giroud. Gotta expect he'll start in this one. Lazio, though, were an underdog at Fiorentina, controlled the match, scored a lot of goals, was a little bit for a little while. But ultimately, I think Lazio are a team that I want to back as an underdog because they can score goals. Their defense certainly is problematic, but I don't know that AC Milan's is that much better. And Pioli playing away where his center backs are attacking up the pitch and trying to win the ball back, which leaves them open to Lazio and Ciro Immobile running by himself, and he finishes every time, it feels like. So I'm interested in Lazio, especially going to extra time or penalty kicks or whatever, being a victory and winning a full unit, because most of the juice is on Milan. Maybe this climbs even higher. I don't know. I can't imagine seeing that, but seeing Fiorentina selling Vlahovic and being closing a favorite to Lazio was a big surprise to me. Moving to Thursday, Atalanta hosting Fiorentina. Speaking of, Atalanta, 3-quarter goal favorite with a bad loss to Cagliari this weekend. Dealing with injuries. I think Zapata got hurt again, came on as a substitute, and then came off. That's never a good sign. Atalanta just seems like can't get out of their own way with injuries. Just sold Gosens to Inter. Didn't get anything out of this big wing back advantage that I thought was going to be huge for them this season. They're hanging around Champions League, but not doing great. Fiorentina, on the other hand, sold Vlahovic. Nico Gonzalez, not really sure what we're going to get from him, though he's so talented. I just don't know really what to say, especially coming fresh back from Argentina, where he played with the national side. I mean, just a lot of issues on that way. It didn't make sense for them to be a favorite this weekend. But moving along to them being a 3-quarter goal underdog at Atalanta, I think I'm interested in Fiorentina, but Atalanta have not really been a great favorite. I mean, they're starting to tick up in form, and then got a lot of injuries. Didn't have a good start to the season, and cup ties are usually pretty close. Atalanta did a lot of business in transfer window, loaning people out, brought in Jeremy Boga, but we'll see how long it takes for him to really settle in. And we'll see what these lineups look like. And I think they're going to be as strong as they can be. But ultimately, I'm pretty interested in Fiorentina as an underdog. I just don't know if that's just because I want to be against Atalanta or if I'm actually interested in the Viola. Juve then hosting Sassuolo. Juve, a 1-goal favorite with all the juice. Playing Morata and Vlahovic was surprising to me, but they bought their guys. They're going to try to be as offensive as possible. Sassuolo is not a side that's going to play defense. I think they'll be a little more pragmatic than they were under De Zerbi, but ultimately, all the juice on Juve. Maybe this climbs to 1.25. I think Sassuolo has played better than where they sat in the table so far this season, but that's a problem, and it's not something that gets solved when you go to the Coppa Italia and play Juve. Juve is deeper. We'll see what happens. They've done a lot of great transfer business, but I feel like that's for the future, and I've had a pretty poor season, so I can't look completely away from that. Now let's go to the Coupe de France. We'll finish the Copa del Rey, I guess. Probably out of order, but whatever. So Monaco and Amiens. Currently Monaco 1.25 goal favorite. Started off really hot against Lyon. Added a late goal. Wissam Ben Yedder was good and surprised to me quite a bit because they've struggled to score goals. Amiens recently demoted side to, I think, the Ligue, and are going to try to fight and claw. Monaco, unfortunately for Amiens, are a pretty deep side because they were built for a Champions League playoff, expecting to make it to Champions League. Didn't get there, but have retained a lot of their players. I mean, they've had a lot of coaching issues and drama in the boardroom, but not sure how good Amiens are ultimately. Moving to Wednesday, with Bergerac Foot and Versailles. The home team, a 1/4 goal favorite, and I'll leave it there. Nice then hosting Marseille. Currently Nice at Pick'em with most of the juice at home. I think Nice are a better side, but Marseille with a big comeback from down 2-0 against Angers was pretty impressive, though not as impressive when you bet Angers up 2-0. Getting a goal felt pretty comfortable, but they fell apart, and a rookie goalkeeper was a big problem. Nice should be in better situation to handle any sort of success that happens. Still don't really believe in Marseille, though. Milik, showed that he should be starting with a hat trick. Don't know why Sampaoli hasn't been playing him, but we'll see if he comes back and starts in right away. I imagine he has to if he has anything in his body right now. Don't know that Nice will move to a favorite, but I'm curious to see where this one goes because I guess I'll be interested in whoever's underdog. It looked like Marseille would be more likely. And Nice, they certainly have the ability to keep clean sheets. Their offense, I think, is where you're questioning who they are. And Marseille do have some great attackers. I mean, Cengiz Ünder has been playing so well. And I guess maybe I'm talking myself more towards Marseille, but that really depends on them moving to the quarter goal underdog that I'd want at a minimum. Nantes then hosting Bastia, not a 1-goal favorite. Bastia got all the juice. I'm surprised to see not that big of a favorite, but Bastia, I can't say I know what league they're in, or I'm guessing Ligue 2, but cup ties have been really tight for sure across all the major leagues. So definitely some interest in the dog here, especially that full goal of insurance, I mean, they've been okay in the league so far this season, but I still think their best players are goalkeepers. That's hard to cover spreads. And now we'll move to Copa del Rey. Last but not least, we have Rayo Vallecano hosting Betis on Wednesday. Betis with the juice on the road, all of it. Looking like they might climb to a quarter goal favorite. Rayo Vallecano, a funny post-match interview from another loss for them on the road. They've not been good on the road, but their defender basically came on and said, we've had a really great home record because we've been playing the bottom of the league at home. So that probably explains why they are where they are on the table and can't get anything on the road. So Betis flying coming in with a great performance at Real Sociedad. Villarreal this weekend, which definitely will be important for their legs. And on Sunday, while Rayo Vallecano played on Saturday, I believe. But Betis are stronger, bigger club, a lot more talent. Weren't the lucky playoff winner to get into the league, so should be better. Should be taking this seriously. And I don't know, even if Rayo climbed to an underdog, I feel like that short pitch, small pitch is useful for them to try to counterattack. But I just don't know that their side I want to back against a better side like Real Betis. Moving to Thursday, Athletic Club hosting Valencia. Currently, Athletic Club a half a goal favorite with all the juice. Might be climbing to 3/4. Valencia just aren't impressive to me. Maybe as a big underdog, but they tend to kind of give up from their really good positions, late goals, like they did 2 in stoppage time to Atletico Madrid on the road to lose that one. Athletic Club certainly aren't the offense that Atletico, I guess, we're expected to be, but Athletic Club have been playing pretty well. They've had a lot of fixtures, had to play Monday, so more rest for Valencia is important because they play, I think, the early match on Sunday, have to travel, so that mitigates things a little bit. But Athletic Club, they want to sit back, defend, counter, use their speed, their pace, and this is, potentially could be a little bit more of a free-for-all, and that Athletic Club are unlikely to be sitting back and playing defense the whole time. So that limits their offensive ability. And I think that's where their struggles come in, is when they need to get 3 points. They're the best counterattacking side, I think, in maybe all of Europe. And I love them as playing the big sides that are really good because they are a great underdog. Don't really love them as favorites. I lean Valencia, of course, as an underdog player. Maybe this climb to 3/4 and you only lose half. They lose by a single goal. That's of interest, I guess, a little bit more to me. But there's just a lot of issues with Valencia. Bordalas is mad they didn't bring enough players. They sold Daniel Vaz. So that's going to hurt them a little bit. Hugo Guillamon in the hospital with a broken nose, like all these sort of things going on. But I lean Valencia. We'll see what happens with that one. So went through Premier League, Coppa Italia, French Coupe de la Ligue, and Copa del Rey. And I think that'll wrap up a slightly abridged morning version of the real _ G-Warner on Twitter. Feel free to hit me up there if you got any questions or want me to get off the fence on something. Happy to do it. But thanks for joining, and see you soon.